Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single Marvel movie from the early 2000s. Now guys, I do apologize if I haven't uploaded in quite a minute. I've been dealing with stuff in my personal life, and there's just been stuff I've been very busy with, so it's kind of prevented me from uploading. But I'm back, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single Marvel movie from the early 2000s. Now, before we get into it, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, without further delay, let's hop right into it. Starting with X-Men from 2000. I think X-Men was honestly a pretty solid movie. It's pretty good. I think the plot was very simple, pretty simple but effective. You know, you have the good guys and the bad guys. You know, the X-Men the X-Men have to stop Magneto from unleashing a machine that will turn everyone into New York into mutants. So it's a very simple plot, but again, very effective. I think the pacing and writing, I think the pacing's a little slow, but it is the first X-Men movie, so you know it's taking its time. It's also like one of the first superhero movies ever made, so you know, you gotta cut it some slack. I think the writing is pretty good for like one of the first superhero movies. Pacing's a little slow, but it doesn't ever get in the way with the action and the actual plot. So I think I'm gonna put X-Men are really good. I think overall it's a pretty good movie. And yeah, I really like X-Men. Next up, we have Blade from 1998. I meant to start with Blade, not X-Men, but I didn't see it. Blade's freaking awesome. I don't think it has the special charm as X-Men, but I'll put it right behind X-Men. I think Blade really kicks a lot of ass. It's a little cheesy because it is from the late 90s, so it's a little cheesy, but Blade's a badass. The movie's awesome. It's a very simple movie. The plot's kind of simple, but you know, it works. The writing's good. Again, pacing's a little slow because this is one of the first superhero movies ever made, but Blade kicks a lot of ass, and this movie is just honestly so cool. So yeah, Blade's awesome. Next up, we have one of the first big mega superhero blockbuster movies ever made. We have Spider-Man, released in 2002. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. You already know where I'm putting this. It's going in amazing. I mean, it makes sense. You know, the Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man's quite amazing. The movie, however, is also quite amazing. Yeah, you know, everything to Peter Parker's origin, to Uncle Ben getting shot, Peter Parker being motivated to kicking ass and becoming a superhero, and then you have the bad guy's origin. Willem Dafoe freaking nails it as Green Goblin. And don't get me started as Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire is so good as Spider-Man. So yeah, Spider-Man's staying in amazing. What came after? Next up we have Ang Lee's Hulk from 2003. I really like this movie. Eric Bana played Bruce Banner. I think this movie's really good. So I'm gonna put it in front of X-Men. I really like Hulk. Eric Bana freaking kills it as Bruce Banner. Eric Bana has a kind of seriousness, but also anger to the character, and I really like that. Plus, Ang Lee also voiced and like played Hulk. Ang Lee did all the stop motion for Hulk, and Ang Lee even voiced Hulk for some of Hulk's lines. So I think that's pretty cool. Hulk is so good. Next up we have Daredevil, also released in 2003. I think this movie released a couple of months after Hulk, starring Ben Affleck as Daredevil and Jennifer Gardner as Elektra. And Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. I think it's alright. You know, it's not bad, but like it's not great. It's very cheesy. I do really like it. I do enjoy it. Michael Clark Duncan is definitely the best part about the film. Ben Affleck is he's alright as Daredevil. You know, I prefer Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox is a much better Daredevil. Ben Affleck is alright. Bullseye is so freaking cheesy. Daredevil's alright. Next up we have, I think it's this X2, X-Men Unite. I can't, okay, yeah, this is X2, X-Men Unite. The X-Men, X2 X-Men Unite. I think it's really good. I'm gonna put it in front of Blade. But I don't think it's as good as the first one. I love how simple and just how much the first one kicks a lot of ass. The second one's really good, don't get me wrong, but I'm one of the few people that actually prefer the first one than the second one. I know a lot of people like the second one more, but I don't know, I just prefer the first one more. Even though the pacing in the second one is much better, I prefer the first X-Men, as it kind of kick-started all these other superhero movies, and X-Men overall just has a better story, and it's overall just better structured than the second one. So yeah, but X2 is still really good. Next up we have Spider-Man 2, released in 2004. It's going in front of Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is going in front of Spider-Man. If I can, there we go. Spider-Man 2 is awesome. I love this movie. It's so good. Everyone can agree Spider-Man 2 is better than the first one. It outcast the first one by so much. Spider-Man 2 is so freaking good. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is probably the best superhero movie from the early 2000s. No questions asked. Next we have The Punisher, starring Thomas and Jane as Punisher. Thomas and Jane's a pretty decent actor. I've enjoyed some of the films he's in. I actually quite like him as Punisher. I think he was a pretty good casting choice as Punisher. Yeah, I really like this movie. The Punisher is so good. It also has John Travolta in it. Like, John Travolta plays Howard Saint. So good. I might have to put it in front of Hulk. I really like The Punisher. I'm putting it in front of Hulk. The Punisher is so good. Guys, if you have not seen The Punisher, I'm telling you right now, go watch it. You'll love it. It's so good. Next up we have a movie that's not as good as The Punisher, Man-Thing, released in 2005. Oh boy, I know some of y'all are probably like, what? Man-Thing? This is a Marvel movie? I've never heard of this movie. It's actually quite forgettable, and that's just because this movie never came out in the theaters. It actually aired on the Sci-Fi Channel back in 2005, so this was released to home video. This was never released in the theaters. It was released on the Sci-Fi Channel in April of 2005, and it absolutely bombed. This movie bombed. So there's a reason why it's very forgettable, because it released on the Sci-Fi Channel, and very few people have seen it. I'm one of the few people that's actually seen it, and I'm probably only one of the few people that actually liked it. I think this movie is so freaking... It's actually very fun. It's really bad, but you guys will have I'm telling you right now, go watch Man-Thing. You will have a blast watching it. It's so stupid, so cheesy, but it's super funny. It's also rated R. I think this is one of the only few Marvel movies to actually have a sex scene. This is one of the only few Marvel movies to actually have sex in it. It's quite weird. I don't think it's as good as Daredevil. I think it's still very bad. There are some pretty enjoyable things about it, but it's very dumb. I think Daredevil's honestly just better in terms. Daredevil's just better than Man-Thing. Man-Thing is just dumb, but it is very fun, and you guys. I'm telling you right now, go watch this with your friends. You and your friends will absolutely have a blast with this movie. Man-Thing is dumb but fun. Next up we have which one's the first one? Okay. Fantastic Four, which was, I think this came out a couple months after Man-Thing. Fantastic Four, I'll put it, I think it's alright. I know a lot of people hate on Fan4Stick. A lot of people hate on this version of Fantastic Four. I actually think it's quite alright. It's better than these two. I think it's alright. It's very cheesy, very silly, but, the Fantastic Four... I think all the actors have very good chemistry. They really bounce off of each other, and that's what makes the movie very fun. Because all of the actors bounce off with each other, and they all have chemistry, and it kind of makes the movie enjoyable. And at the end of the day, it is just a fun little action-packed superhero film. So I'm gonna put it in alright. So I think it's alright. Next up we have Elektra. I think this released in October of 2005. It's honestly just meh. I mean, this is, I think, a spin-off from Daredevil, so it's a separate story. It takes place in the same universe as Ben Affleck's Daredevil, but it's apparently it's like a separate time. it takes place in the same universe as Daredevil, but this movie is supposed to be like a spinoff. So it's in a this movie's set in a different timeline as Daredevil. It's very confusing, considering Jennifer Gardner literally plays Elektra, and Jennifer Gardner was also in Daredevil. But this movie takes place in a different timeline. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really matter though. This movie kind of sucks, so it doesn't really matter. Next up, in 2006, we have that's X-Men Origins Wolverine. X-Men: The Last Stand. My bad. All these pictures are kind of the same from one another. They're not really that. You can't really tell which one is which because they're kind of the same. X-Men: The Last Stand. I think it's all right. I think all these movies are totally better than Man-Thing. Man-Thing is probably one of the worst superhero movies ever made. Don't get me wrong, it's very fun, but it's really bad. X-Men: The Last Stand is 100% better than Man-Thing. I think X-Men: The Last Stand is good. I know a lot of people crap on this movie. I actually quite like it. Could have been better? Yes, it could have been better. But I think for what we got, it's alright. It's alright. Next up, in 2007, we have Ghost Rider. I'm putting this in amazing, bro. I love Ghost Rider. This is... I remember watching this movie back-to-back when I was like 5 years old. I love Ghost Rider. This was one of the first superhero movies I ever watched, and I instantly fell in love with this movie. It means a lot to me It means a lot to me because when I was little. It means a lot to my childhood. I love Ghost Rider. It's awesome. I don't care if y'all disagree with me. Ghost Rider's it's one of the best superhero movies from the early 2000s. Agree or disagree with me if you want. I don't care. Next up, we have Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I'll put it in front of Elektra. It's very meh. I prefer the first one. The second one is just so much more dumb. There's so much more dumb things in it. It's really not that good. It's quite meh. Next up, we have Spider-Man 3. We have Spider-Man 3, also released in 2007. So y'all might disagree with me. I think it's not amazing, because there are some problems with it, but I actually really enjoy this movie, so I'm putting in really good. I love Spider-Man 3. Oh crap, I forgot about the two Blade movies. Alright, I forgot about these. My bad, guys. So we have Blade 2 from 2002. I think this movie is really good. I'll put it behind Blade. By the way, Blade 2 came out in 2002. I forgot about that. And Blade Trinity there's no questions asked. Blade Trinity is complete trash. It's awful, it's doo-doo, it's terrible. Next up we have Punisher Warzone. I've always seen bits and pieces of this movie, but I've never seen this movie all the way through. So I think it's alright. I think Man-Thing is definitely better than this movie. Punisher's Warzone I watched a little bit of it and I didn't really like it. I remember turning it off halfway through. The Punisher is just so much better. Plus, Man-Thing is more entertaining than this movie. This movie will basically put you to sleep. It's kind of boring. X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's better than Blade Trinity, but not by much. It's better than Blade Trinity by a smidge bit. But it's still awful. It's trash. We can all agree X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's one of the worst superhero movies ever made. And finally, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. I'll put it in front of alright. I think it's okay. And that's my tier list, guys. Agree or disagree with me in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see all of you guys next time. Peace out. Bye.